proudly sponsored by Michigan Biker Law. Michigan Biker Law is the only law firm that exclusively represents motorcyclists. They're there to pick you up if you go down. Brennan and Michigan Biker Law hope you will enjoy this episode of Riding with Brennan, and we will see you on the road.
All right, hey everybody, Ride with Brendan. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Today I have a very, very, very special guest to me because if you guys know anything about me, the two of you that watch this know that I started my journey to join God Squad. So I'm an associate after my hang around, which is a big deal to me. And like I was mentioning to Bruce, it's not so much about a patch for me as it is getting closer to Christ. If I get a patch out of it, then win-win. If I only get closer to Christ, then I win. Anyway,
that's all the right answers.
So, all right, can I have my patch?
No.
Damn. All right. But anyway, I'm with the European president of God Squad, Reverend Nigel Rostock. Do you prefer the call Reverend or just Nigel?
I don't mind. Rostock sounds good, though.
Rostock sounds good. I like it. Okay, I appreciate it. I'm mispronouncing. He is here visiting, doing a book tour.
Yeah, a bit of one, yeah.
Yeah. And some, I guess, other stuff you're going to do while you're on the stateside.
Yeah.
So the book's called Observations from the Saddle of an Aging Harley, Stories from the Road. I can find a link to get that out to people. Here it is, too. Can they buy it on, like, Amazon or...
Yeah, Kindle.
Barnes and Noble?
Kindle, definitely. That's immediate.
Okay.
Some other places, but if you do a search, you'll find it somewhere.
Okay, and we'll have the title
doing
things so they can find a way to get to it.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on. I didn't get to read a whole lot of the books. I had it 2 days ago, and this has been an insanely busy week for me.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff I keep putting it down. I want to talk about it again. Can't even put it down. That's how good of a book it is. Stuff I could relate to a lot already was with the as growing up as a kid and going to church with parents. It was kind of going through the motions more than taking in and getting to knowing, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then as you get older, I think you appreciate it more and you actually look for it, a relationship, you know, with...
Yeah, it didn't work like that for me, mind you.
Okay.
So, going to church, my mum dragged me to a Church of England church, which was quite empty to me. There was no understanding. But it wasn't till I was 21 where there was this Billy Graham meeting, and that's one of your guys from America. He came over 1985 and attended that, and he started to talk, and everything resonated really with me. I didn't want to be there, so my wife dragged me there. We were living in a place in Pontins Holiday Camp, which is a place in England where people go on holiday, and it's not a good place. There's also all sorts of bad stuff. It's like the Spanish Foreign Legion for those who are trying to escape lives as well. So you had all sorts of guys there. But from there, Alison, my wife, asked me, will I take her to this Billy Graham meeting in Sheffield? So I took her, and as we were approaching, I felt drawn to the place, but I didn't like Christians. I didn't have any interest in Christianity. But as we was approaching, I just felt something drawing me, and I think that was the Holy Spirit. And once we were in there, the guy started to speak, and everything he said, he talked about repentance, he talked about forgiveness, and I had all these motoring offences, so I'd rode through a shopping precinct on my bike and all sorts of things. So I was due in court for that. So it was likely I was going to lose my licence, and so I knew what that felt, you know, to be in trouble and then to be able to repent and then be forgiven, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep. Yeah. You said, and I hate to say they're kind of as aha moments, but defining moments. The one that I liked when you were eating, you sat down to eat, and the timing where you just got up and left to go apologize to it, or forgive a guy, not apologize. Not apologize.
Yeah.
But I thought that was pretty neat because the time, like you said in the book, the timing of it, had it happened any other way.
Yeah, well, that was once I'd accepted Christ, my life changed, and you know the whole world changed. And we come back to Leicester, and I was intending to get somebody to do some serious harm. I won't go any further than that, but yeah. And
It wasn't a tickle fight.
yeah, so God said you can't do that, and He said you can't do that. So I was sitting down at dinner one day, and God just said you've got to go over and tell him you forgive him. And so I got up. And Alison said, "What are you doing?" I said, I've got to go and see that guy. And Alison said, "Are you not going to finish your dinner first?" I said, "No, God's told me to go now." So I got on my bike, rode across town, pulled up in the space, and it was actually his space. And he pulled up in his car, and saying, "Can you get out of my space?" So I went round and sat in his car, and just said, "I forgive you for the stuff you've done, and become a Christian and the slate's clean." I said, I don't like him, I won't want to associate with him, but that forgiveness freed me. So the chain is almost like chains binding you when you don't forgive, but it's like being released from that. So
Sure.
yeah.
So was there internal confliction when you sat in his car, where you kind of like, I still could do that?
No, at that point. I mean, I'd had these feelings. I'm going to go and finish this guy off, or do some harm. So there were those feelings were there, for a while. It's not immediate, the feelings, but God certainly released me at that point, because that's the point where I got some closure on it, because I knew it was over for me.
Sure.
So my life, I could have been in prison, but my life was different.
Yeah, I'm glad
I could live it. Yeah.
You could be on the Ride with Brendan show from prison. Well, maybe you could. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to pull some strings. But so you're a vicar
Yeah.
in the Church of England.
Yeah.
So explain what a vicar is, because I'm sure people are like, vicar what? But and how you got there and
Yeah, that's interesting. So a vicar is, I suppose, a lead pastor in your terms.
Okay.
So the Church of England is the church of the country. So the Queen used to be the head, and now it's Charles. But the church I'm in is 850 years old, so it's got a lot of history. And so the vicar's sort of in charge of the church in a serious way. But I was called to the church. I was in a different church before I got a call into the Church of England. I was in a charismatic evangelical church, but we left the church we were in because we knew we were called to an area, and the church decided they're going to move. So I said, "Well, I can't come with you." So we ended up in the Church of England, and the guy, the vicar there, said, "Will you go on this vocations day?" And the guy started speaking, and it just resonated, and I thought, yeah, that's where I am. But my wife said, "I'll never be a vicar's wife." She'd said that. So when I went home and said, "I really feel this is what God's calling me to," she says, "Yeah, I think that you're right." So it was confirmation that was the right thing.
Sure, yeah. I imagine she said that because the vicars are so busy and gone, and
Well,
probably
there
a
were
very
all
demanding
sorts
role.
of reasons. Yeah.
So, how long have you been vicar of that?
How long?
Of the Church of England, I should say.
In the Church of England, about 6 or 7 years now.
Okay, so did that come before or after God Squad?
Oh yeah, after God Squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So God Squad was first.
Yeah, and that was a prerequisite for me. So when you have to go through selection, and they grill you, and one of the things that I said, if they're going to accept me, they'll accept me as I am. I'm not going to pretend to be some middle class vicar, which most of them turn into.
Okay.
So for the selection thing, I went, I wore my colours, and so there was no sort of denying who I was and what my values were, and so I knew if they selected me then there's no way that they're going to try and change me and turn me into something else, which has been really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's not only for the church, but I feel like clubs in general, when people prospect, or an associate such as myself, even though I don't have my cut, sorry, they have to, that's part of finding out if you and the club mesh as an individual, you know, and kind of dictates if you're going to fit in to longevity.
Yeah, I mean, the whole process of the ministry is similar to God Squad. So you have the selection, you have the discerning moment where they discern whether you're right, whether it's God's call, and then you go through, you become a deacon. So you go through training, then you become a deacon, and then a priest. You're priested, and then you got 2 years training as a priest after that, and then you can become a vicar or a minister or whatever. But it's like it's this discerning process, and for squad it's the same. So it's a 3-year process
Minimum.
and yeah, minimum 3 years. And this is all the way through. It's a discernment. So are you called to the club? Because if you're not called, you shouldn't be in the club. But if you are called, you shouldn't be leaving.
Right.
So
right.
yeah.
So I so far, I mean, it's a journey, and there's some struggle for sure, internal strife. But I'm working through it. I'm enjoying it, and I love meeting you. Corky was amazing.
Yeah.
Prophet, as always, is amazing. Girth, all my associates, and the people I meet along the way.
Yeah,
you
you're saying all the right things there.
Yeah. Can I have my badge? Darn it! All right. I cut. This is over. There's no point. I'm not getting my patch. I'm just kidding. So what made you decide to write a book? Because I commend you, because all the thoughts in my head, I can barely make a coherent sentence, let alone put them all onto paper.
No, it's interesting. The book, to start with, a lot of me analogies for sermons as there. So because I ride a lot. So as European president, it carries me across Europe. You know, so the last ride was through to Holland, into Poland, through Germany, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and then back into Germany and Holland. So that was a big ride, and we were visiting chapters there, each one. So rides like that, I won't mention the club when I'm preaching because it's all confidential.
Sure.
Or anyone else. So I don't use any names in here.
Yeah.
But those stories on the road, the things that happen on the road, they're pretty good analogies. And I like stories, and I think Jesus used stories. He used parables and so that's what I've done. So people were always saying, "Oh, why don't you write a book? Write it all down." So I started doing it. But my boss as well, I was working at in the Church of England in a different church, and he gave me 3 months to write.
Oh.
Yeah. But he thought I was finishing. I'd written a PhD, and he thought I was polishing that off. But I was actually writing the book. So
good. I really am looking forward to reading the rest of it, because it was a good read, informative. Like I was really enjoying it. I just wish I had more time to finish it before we sat down. So how did you get started on bikes?
On bikes, well, that was back in Morecambe, and I'd had bikes when I was a kid, and everyone had a bike. But in Morecambe, I bought a bike from the local shop, and my car, actually I written my car off first. So I had this Ford Capri, which is like a sporty type thing. So I was taking friends down when I was in Morecambe, down this country lane, and there was a right turn, but I decided to not do that and leap off the road into this field like the Dukes of Hazzard.
Heck yeah.
And so the car was written off. There was turf in the engine, and so I left it in the car park in the end. So that when I left, that's where it stayed. And then so I got a bike, and that was a passion really, because I'd ride all through the country lanes and through the different villages and off up to Manchester, and that was a passion really for riding. That was really where it took off.
It's very liberating once you get on a bike if you haven't done it as a kid, because I know a lot of people, I dare say most, started on the mini bikes and the little dirt bikes, four-wheelers.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't always smooth sailing with it.
Oh, no, it never is.
I lost a girl off the back, so in front of a police car, which is in there.
Yeah, I did get that far, yeah.
Putting on his back, so coming up to the light, to traffic lights, slowing down, and then the lights changed, so pulling back the throttle and it back on its back wheel, and this girl fell off right in the middle, so I wasn't a Christian, so I sort of disappeared into the distance and came back for later.
Is it true that you did that on purpose because you thought the bike was too heavy and you needed to get away? Got to jettison some cargo. Just kidding. Do you still? Is that somebody you still talk to? Or are you friends with that?
No.
Okay.
I was friends when, I mean, she laughed about it in the end, but no, I'm not. That was in Pontins in Morecambe.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the old life as well. So.
Right on. Right.
Yeah.
So what's in your stable now? What do you ride now? What's your daily?
Harley Street Bob. A Dynaglide.
Okay.
It's got saddlebags, and the saddlebags are I think 1970s, so which are great because they're really rugged old things. But it's got nearly 170,000 miles on it, so it's.
So you're riding.
They're mine. Well, 5,000 aren't mine, but the rest 165 are mine.
That's very nice.
So yeah,
that's
it's
great.
done well.
Because I know, like, I have pretty high mileage on my bike. It's fairly new, and then I hear people say, "Oh, I got a 2008 and it's got, no offense, Goofs, but I know Goofs got a lot of miles. And it's got 12,000 miles." I'm like, 12,000 miles? I had that like within the first 2 weeks of getting my bike. It's like, so it's good that you ride it. We had a good ride. We went all the way. 350-ish miles.
Yeah.
Riding with you guys. That was a good time. Go down Detroit Mill Stomping Grounds and visit people, and so that was a good time. It was really great to ride with you. I'm glad I got a chance to meet you and you came out.
No.
So what do you hope people get from reading your bike? I guess I could read your bike if they want.
Yeah, there's a few things really. So there's a few people who have sort of written it for. So first, bikers. So the stories in themselves, I think if you're a biker, I hope you'll enjoy the stories. I think people have enjoyed reading it. So I've given it bikers who aren't Christians, and they're reading through it and enjoying it. So that's one thing. But then they'll read the other stuff, my Christian faith bit. For those who are struggling, some of the stories that I because they're all true, they're all authentic.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing's made up. But some of the accounts are of we're going through dark places. So nearly got mugged in Chicago, and when the brakes failed on the Alps, that was quite a dark place. Both brakes failed coming down a pretty steep slope.
I haven't got that far yet. I want to see that story.
You can read what happened, but those sort of stories, when faith kicks in, or we had a flood on the way to Rome, me and my missus, and it was coming up to the engine and coming onto the exhaust. So I couldn't. It was these cobblestones. It was an old, the back lanes and that. So these slippy cobblestones with bits of bark and stuff all over, and we couldn't stop. And my wife was, she's really helpful. So she was at the back saying, "We need to stop because we're going to die." But I said, we can't stop. And we were getting hypothermia, and I got electrocuted. I had this heated waistcoat. And the amount of water which come down, it was like we'd been in a river, but it started short-circuiting, and I've got this scar here from it.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, but God was certainly in that, and riding with us and getting us through and on the Alps, and that's been the case throughout. We run out of petrol at one point, and it was an empty tank. It's because I'd had to ride across from Holland to through Belgium, which I shouldn't have gone through Belgium, but through Belgium into France to get a ferry. It was in lockdown, so it was the last ferry I could get, So we had
boy.
to divert because I was heading for another one. So because I was rushing, I didn't fill the tank up, and I usually do that before I get on the ferry. So the tank was completely empty. When I got off, also when I got to the bike, the clutch cable had snapped. So I don't know what had happened to that. So I had no clutch cable. So that meant I couldn't start the bike. So from the ferry, I managed to roll it down the slope, kick it into gear, and press the button at the same time. So I started it, and it was God's grace really, because often you're stopped as you're coming off. There's no one around, so it was empty. So we just sailed through, didn't stop at traffic lights or. Maybe I shouldn't say that actually, but didn't stop at any traffic.
Slowed down all the way.
And then I thought, well, I need petrol because it was actually on complete empty. So the tank was empty. So I thought I need it now, but we couldn't stop at any petrol station because I needed one with a slope. So it was about 30 miles that I rode on an empty tank of petrol, and. I had to go to this petrol station. It was on the motorway because it had a slope, so I could start it once I was back. But it kept going, and it sort of moved into just above the empty. And when I pulled into the petrol station, stopped at the pump, and it went.
It was done.
Yeah, and it's that's the miraculous stuff for me.
Yeah.
God keeping that
all
going.
Your guardian angels are pushing. They're just like, whoo!
So
about time.
Yeah. So for guys who are maybe struggling or something, knowing that God does answer and protect us, and so those dark places, God's in the darkness, God's in those storms.
Yeah.
But also for just mainstream Christians who be encouraged through the stories. Yeah, or find them amusing. Even some of the stories amusing
and very relatable, like zip tying the stuff together. I'm like, well, I've done that. So,
but God's sort of interwoven through them all. So so you get the stories, but you get some faith in there as well.
In there, and that's good to see where people might overlook it, and then they go, well, I guess maybe that could be your God's doing work, right?
Yeah.
So I noticed your wife is in this a bunch. How long have you been married? How'd you meet?
Well, it's interesting. I've only just realised that we've been married 40 years in I think September or October, just to hedge my bets.
40 years?
40 years,
wow.
Yeah. So I just realised when you were talking earlier.
Okay.
It's a long time.
Congratulations, it is a long time.
Thank you, yeah. And thank goodness I've realised.
Yeah.
In time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how'd you guys meet?
So as I say, we met in Pontins, the holiday camp.
Okay. We touched base a little bit on that.
We mentioned that. So I saw her. She was working in the dining room, and I used to just look at her and think she's nice. And I thought, I'm going to ask her out. And then this other guy came up. He says, "Yeah, I'm going to ask that girl out." I says, "No, you're not." He says, "Yeah, I am." I said, "No, you're not." He says, "Yeah, I think I will." I said, "No." And he says, "Yeah, there's plenty more fish in the sea." So then I asked her out, and we went out together. And when we become Christians, so after going to this Billy Graham meeting, we realised really we living together wasn't great. We needed to get married. So that was our. It's 40 years ago, and that was really important. So we did that, and we was going to go grape picking originally, but as we were stopping in Leicester to pick the tent up, we decided we'll get married instead, get us some jobs. So I'm sure it was 3 months after meeting we ended up getting married. It
3 months.
It could have been 6, but I think it was 3.
Maybe that's the problem I'm having. I gotta get married right away and not drag it out.
Well, and so that was it. And again, we just knew God had brought us together, and
sure.
So that was really, really significant.
Yeah. And who are you to question God's plan, right?
Yeah. And we both accepted Christ together, so we both become Christians right at the same time.
That's pretty.
So that's been really important.
Yeah. If Christ and God and religion isn't the center of your relationship, I think you're a lot. So how many kids do you guys have?
I've got 3 kids. one's a Glaswegian living in Scotland.
Okay, cool.
Two are sort of, one's round the corner and one's in not too far away. So we see them all the time, them two.
Had Father's Day today?
Yeah, well, it's Father's Day and I'm in trouble because I've been
Gone?
Yeah, been gone, yeah.
He's super celebrity now. This is kind of how it happens, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if I talked about Ukraine in this, but yeah, I remember in Ukraine I went to Lviv. I might have told you, but I went to Lviv, and it was when war had broken out. But yeah, my daughter was really fuming that I went there. So she was cross at this one as well, that I'm away on Father's Day. But that's the mission, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got six grandkids.
Oh wow, nice.
So yeah. So my kids are Ben, Luke, and Bethany, and the grandkids are Skylar. Skylar, Oliver, Poppy, Jeremiah, and Eliza. How many is that?
And you got one more.
One more. Who's the other one? Eliza, Poppy. Oh, and Rafi.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
So you can't keep count.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love them all.
Yeah, I remember. So I'm the middle of 9. I was adopted as well.
Yeah. All right.
And
all the best people are.
Yeah, you know. And it was funny when we would get the parents all fired up and pissed off. They would yell about 6 names before they yelled the right name at us. Gave us a little bit of window to get away. So the grandkids will get it. So, well, great, man. And it's key to have support from your family and everything you do, and especially in this type of ministry, because the reality of it is sometimes we inadvertently are in harm's way. I mean, and it's not by intent. It's just.
Yeah. But my wife's a strong Christian. Good. I mean, I could have told you a story about that. I won't tell you where we were, but we were in real danger, and she was woke up in the night and saw this vision of me standing by my bike in the garage, and she sort of knew she had to pray, and things were going really pear-shaped. We think we were, in danger of being beat up. But she got up, she prayed, and I didn't know this, and things just turned around. The atmosphere just turned. I won't say where we were, but when I got back, I said, yeah, it was, she said, did anything happen? I said, yeah, it was looking pretty bad. And she said, what time was that? And it was the exact time.
She was dreaming.
It was kicking off when she got. So yeah.
That's cool.
So there you go. God works.
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
He works through your wives as well.
It's attached to 2 of you guys for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good for her. I'm glad you guys both have that. 30 years for Bruce, 40 for you.
Yeah.
Prophet's been married a long time. I gave up. I'm not good at it.
No, well, just this time.
Yeah, there's not being next time, man. I'm not betting half my stuff on number 3, right?
Yeah.
I lost my farm already.
Yeah.
So, 10 years, see, right now.
Yeah.
Good, man.
Yeah, so I'm really glad I heard you mention the length of marriage, because now I know I've got to get something good for her.
With Reverend Nigel Rostock, like I said all the time. So
it's because the pastor was saying that.
Yeah, maybe that's what planted that seed, right? Because I just knew you as Nigel.
Yeah.
And now I have to say your last name, and I'm butchering it, so I apologize for that.
That's all right.
So I'm gonna give you this. This is. Everybody in Michigan knows what this is. This is a big deal. He's a good friend of mine. Him and his wife, Carl and Paula, they're from Marquette, which is like right up here in the UP.
Yeah.
They came up with this brand, Michigan Bike Life, LLC, and they wanted me to give you a hat.
Oh, thank you.
And if you don't wear it, set it on the shelf. You got a Michigan souvenir now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I won't ruin it now. But
okay.
Yeah. No, I'll take that with me. That's great.
Yeah, it's from Carl and Paula, Michigan Bike Life. They're fans of the show. They help support.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Appreciated.
So in Europe, do they have? We talked a couple of minutes off camera, and Sturgis came to mind because a bunch of us are going to Sturgis this year. Do you have any big events in Europe, like bike rallies?
Oh, there is in Europe. Yeah, I've never been to many. I sort of attend some local stuff, and yeah, not no. No, there are some. I think the trouble is, as a Christian backpatch club, the ministry's sort of central. So these are all things that'd be right good fun to do, but I've just not got the time. I've got too much. I've got really really busy life with the ministry, with the club, and with all the other stuff I've got to do.
Now a book tour.
And now a book tour. Yeah. so I've never had a chance to do much of that. I've been to a few bits and bobs in England, but the mission really takes up
Precedence.
most of my time.
Yeah, for sure. And I like every 100 yards around here, you have a bike night during the week, and it'd be impossible to make every one of them.
Yeah.
Have to pick and choose.
I mean, there's things in they meet in pubs, the guys that I know, and so I'll be down the pub and outside in the car park, or there'll be a bike show in a car park, and I'll go to them.
Sure.
So I'll go to them, but the sort of serious bikers running them.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
we pulled up at a bike show the other day, or a car show the other day, and it seemed like everybody started leaving when we got there.
I can't understand it. Yeah.
Dirty bikers, huh?
Yeah, they heard about it. They thought I'd try and sell them the book. That was a problem. They've heard the rumours.
Really? Here's that book, guy. Let's get out of here. So, I am really looking forward to the book and some of the stories. And I don't want you to tell all the stories, but so I guess what ages does this span? Is it like from a certain time to current? Or
yeah, that's an interesting one. It spans, well, I mean, it spans from the young days really, because the first section's about my life and the way you're growing up, and the way I become a Christian and all of that. So I suppose from that perspective, it's right from the beginning. And I think it was last year was the last story. So that big trip up to Finland, and that was the last one I did. So I've not really said much about that, but I've put sort of I see it as God's hand in a divine appointment in that. So I've added that one. So I might write more at another time, because I've got a few more. I've not wrote about the trip to Sweden, so that was interesting. So there's bits I haven't put in, which I could include.
Volume 2.
Volume, yeah.
Stories from the Road, Volume 2.
Yeah.
I like it.
So that can help the tables straighten up, can't it, in many houses?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just it's very, and thank you again. I didn't even thank you. So thank you for, I guess we don't have sponsors per se. I don't know if you guys do in Europe and Australia for associates and prospects.
Oh,
you
yeah.
kind of pulled us aside and gave us guidance, which was appreciated, because, I mean, I've been around the scene long enough, but it's good to know that you're watching out for us not to get all of us killed if we're going somewhere dangerous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, we have overseers, so in the actual chapter, but you've got that for yourselves, but also, I suppose my responsibility is also oversight of the Europe and America.
Good.
So
I appreciated that. I was like, yeah, I mean, you don't know what I know walking into a clubhouse, so it's better to check with me and say, hey, this is what I'm European president. This is what we expect of our associates. So that was good.
Yeah. Although in America, I suppose you guys are on the ground as well. So it's also listening to the members here. So it's a two-way street, really.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So it was interesting to learn the ride protocols and staggering and who goes where, and
yeah.
Because I mean, it's with us group of friends, we know Prophet's got his patch. It's who we follow, right? But then to ride with a few clubs like we did yesterday and get the packing order was pretty good.
Yeah. It's all a bit different. So, but we've got protocol for riding.
Yep, for sure. I mean, protocols for everything, right? That's part of the club.
Yeah.
So if you have advice for somebody who, let's say they're already they already dig the motorcycle scene. They feel like they might be being called, but they're not sure. What advice would you give to them?
What, to squad, do you mean? Or
In general, Christianity in general, squad itself.
Christianity.
Or any Christian club. I mean, for squad, I think it's another level compared to the other Christian clubs. And I'm not taking anything away from any Christian clubs by all means, but...
Yeah, I mean, church is really important. So if you're serious, church is really what they should be looking at, and find the church that they're happy with. So, you know, some churches might not be accepting, and I understand that, but there will be a church that will be good, and that was always the way I was told, because that's where you get your Christian grounding.
Sure.
Yeah. So and you're in a body of people, and you get challenged and you get taught. So that's really important. But yeah, for if you're a Christian and a motorcyclist, then it'd be good to hook up with some of the guys who are Christians in motorcycle clubs. So there's a club called, I'm allowed to say CMA.
Yeah.
So there's Christian Motorcycle Association, and they're a good bunch of guys. So sports bike riders and some Harley riders, but more mainstream guys.
Yeah.
And they'd be welcome, I'm sure. You know, to chat with them and give them some guidance. But if the more serious guys, so, you know, if I know it's difficult moving from a club, but God Squad's there to talk to.
Yeah.
But that's, again, it's a vocational thing, and it takes a long time, you know. So 3 years is an awful long time. But it's praying about it and asking God, are you calling me to this?
Yeah.
And then checking with the club, because it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So you're asking God for discernment about the club, but we're also asking God for discernment about you. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So I want to thank you for coming on. Kindle for this book.
Kindle's the best one. Yeah, you can definitely get it in America with Kindle. Blackwell's, they've got a few there, and I know there was some on eBay.
Okay.
But maybe I could ship some over. But yeah, definitely, if people like Kindle, then it's on there. They'll get that instantly.
Okay, and if something comes up where you can order signed copies, because I know that you're getting a lot of signed copies.
Yeah, I could do that.
Then I will post something on Ride with Brendan Facebook page, and
yeah, I could sort something out for
so we can
if you really wanted a signed copy. Yeah.
But are you going anywhere else in the States besides Michigan for the book tour?
No, because it's mainly UK. So I've just decided to do a small tour here, really. But yeah, I must warn you, if the copies are signed, they're half in value.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm asking. I want to get a bunch and put them on eBay to make a few bucks. So
yeah, they lose value when I've signed them.
Oh, well, that's why I don't want to sign anything.
Yeah.
Now it's not worth anything. But so look for volume 2, maybe.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, volume 2 turns up. I'll make sure it's available over here.
All right,
Do
appreciate
some
it.
deals.
So it's been great spending time with you, and thank you for coming on and doing this.
No,
thank you for the
pleasure.
book. Now that you know, I was waiting until you got to know me a little better before you signed it. Now
too late.
Yeah. Now there's gonna be probably some profanities in there. I can do what to myself?
I could add them at the back if you like. Advice from your member.
So appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming on. I have enjoyed it. You guys pick it up, and if you want to, well, I won't have any, but look for it on Kindle. If you can't find it on Kindle or something, get a hold of me or any God Squad member that you can think of, or the supporters page, Facebook page. Got a USA face space. Yeah. So we can see about getting you guys a actual one you can hold in your hand if you want. So.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks again. Thanks to Michigan Biker Law. Thanks to God Squad. You guys support this show. Yeah. I'll never know why, but I appreciate it. So we'll catch you guys next time. And so I'm doing a new thing. We had a bunch of the Michigan creators sit down at an event in Mackinac City, and they all have catchphrases, and I don't have one. So I'm just gonna go catchphrase.
Yeah.
So from
Absolutely.
now on, so-
I've certainly not got one.
Yeah, so I don't have one, so
No.
I'm just gonna do finger guns and go catchphrase.
Right on.
Right on, yeah. All right, guys, till next time.
Yeah.
Catchphrase.